If I could turn back the clock, I would do a lot of things differently. I'm currently running a number of businesses right now, one of them being a seven-figure digital products business. And I get a lot of questions from folks who are aiming to start a business based on, let's say, online courses or other digital products. These are essentially the 5 steps that I've taken in starting newer companies or even just divisions of my existing businesses that I wish I had known when I first got started. And if you're looking to get a digital products business off the ground, or let's say launch a particular product in your business, but do it the right way with the highest chances of success, this is a nice little framework to think through before you start making those decisions. For those of you who are newer entrepreneurs thinking of starting a business, or want to be able to go into your next marketing endeavor with your existing digital marketing business or digital products business the right way, hopefully this will be tremendously useful. These are lessons that we learned to get our business up to a $4 million run rate. And a lot of these lessons took longer for me to learn than I wish I could admit. But now that we've got them, we'll be able to hop right in and teach them all to you. So we'll go over each point individually, and we will also cover 2 sub-points that are going to be most important per. So first and foremost going to be industry selection. A lot of folks who get excited about starting an online business, part of the allure, I think, in many respects, of having a business that operates online and it involves digital goods is the fact that it's tremendously location independent. There's a lot of time freedom potentially when you set it up right. And there's a lot of enthusiasm around those as general ideas. There's often not that much forethought about the industry that someone is jumping into. So if you're interested in starting a digital products business, it's likely because you have some enthusiasm in a particular domain. And when I started mine, which was in my main e-commerce business now, was sort of in the martial arts space, I had to learn the hard way that the particular niche that we started off in was actually quite small, and it was very difficult for us to get beyond, let's say, $40,000, $50,000 a month in that one particular small industry, that particular small niche. And that much of what I thought would be interesting, what I thought there'd be a lot of demand for, there really wasn't. And it's because I didn't really assess the industry and niche that I was going to be stepping into. So important in sort of beginning your selection there is to certainly think along the lines of your passion, certainly think along the lines of your interest, but also think around along the lines of the actual market size and scale. Are you talking about a hobby that maybe another 100,000 people have? Or are we talking about a particular niche or domain where 9-figure, 10-figure, billion-dollar or hundreds of millions of dollar businesses exist? If there are 9-figure businesses, hundreds of millions of dollars at least, in whatever domain you're thinking about moving into, then you're likely to be in a good space. So, if you're working on digital products around, let's say, technology selection for C-level executives who are looking to pick the right marketing automation or CRM technology, man, there's big players like Gartner making billions of dollars doing just that. You've got yourself a reasonable market. If you're moving into something that's a personal hobby or a personal interest for you, you may really want to look into how many people are actually interested in this, and are there any other at all businesses making actual revenue in this space? If there are none, that is not always a good sign of opportunity. That's often a bit of a bad sign of lack of demand and lack of a respectable business model altogether. So think through, how big is this actual industry you're looking to move into? Don't just think about your own passions. As important as that is, you've also got to be able to pay your bills here. In addition to that, think about an assessment of needs and opportunities. Much of the time, and I started my first business this way, you start off believing, hey, here's something I really like. Here's something I think I could contribute. I'm going to go offer this as a product. And that's what I thought in the martial arts world. I thought it was really going to be serving competitors and very serious Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu strategists. And as it turns out, there's actually very, very few of them. And of the Jiu-Jitsu competitors that are out there, most of them are far too young to have the disposable income to purchase courses online. And that wasn't our buyer demographic in the first place. And so I had a completely skewed version of what the actual assessments and needs and opportunities were in that market. Now, since then, we've expanded well beyond the martial arts niche into the general self-defense, self-reliance space, really got a dialed in understanding of our market, built a rather large subscription base of a very consistent and healthy 6 figures of monthly revenue. And that's because we actually got down to what the market really wanted, what the needs really were. So in addition to, as you're picking what industry you want to go into, really think about where the actual needs really are for those folks. In addition to that, customer development, research, and positioning. Two aspects of this. We'll cover them very quickly. One of which is going to be your overview research. Look at the forums, look at the most popular blogs, look at the most popular fan pages, look at everything that's outwardly visible to you, and get a sense for what are people actually most interested in and excited about in this particular niche and domain. After that, once you have a reasonable idea of what kind of the range of interests and business needs might be here, then go into the actual hands-on research of dialing in where you might be a fit. In this sense, here's what I mean. You can pay these big popular Facebook pages to post a poll, and you can have people fill out a poll, let's say on SurveyMonkey or Google Forms or even Infusionsoft or whatever your email marketing platform might be. Have folks fill out a poll selecting what it is that they might be interested in. Or possibly get yourself a guest writing position and link people to some sort of poll or research from there. Talk to people who sell to this market and one-on-one get them on the phone and really grill them about what the actual needs are of these customers, what they're really interested in. Do the hands-on dirty work that helps you determine your positioning. Now, your positioning, I would recommend, if you're interested in positioning, go ahead and Google it as a marketing term and get a deeper understanding of the concept. We don't have very much time here today to go into this individually, but your positioning is really what is your unique value in the marketplace? How are you differentiated in the marketplace? What unique benefit are you serving that other folks might not be? And you get a real sense of what the range of that is from your overview research of what's already online, and you get a better sense of how to dial that in and how to really fill an important kind of sub-niche of your industry by doing the hands-on research, at which point you may be able to flesh out where your real niche lies. For us in the self-reliance space, that ended up being sort of serving the self-defense niche within the self-reliance space. That's big enough to be a multiple seven-figure sort of digital products business for us there. In CLB Boost, for example, we also offer digital courses and pretty advanced and useful marketing automation and internet marketing instructionals. Our positioning there is really around marketing automation. Folks that really want to master automated campaigns to drive revenue. And so that's my positioning in this space, just to give you a sense of what positioning actually means. Next, your digital assets, creation of products and pages. Here's what you don't want to do, okay? You don't want to create your URL and create a blog and create products without doing these first two, okay? Really, only after you do your understanding of positioning and your overview research, etc., will you want to actually determine a URL. You may be picking a URL that you think sounds exciting or you think sounds relevant, but if you pick the URL first, you may be anchoring yourself away from what your true positioning is. Your URL, the style of your site, should reflect what your positioning is, as well as it should reflect the most successful businesses in your space, which you can glean from your overview research. Who's really making a lot of money here doing something similar to what you're trying to do? You ought to, at least in the beginning, oftentimes I advise, tentatively model to some degree a bit of the copy and the style of the folks who are most successful in the industry you're starting off on. We have other videos that go into more detail on that. But it's very, very important to cover these first two before you do the third, at which point, of course, you'll determine your products and price points based off of your research. What are people willing to spend on? What are the products that are popular in this world where you can already see that those price points are working? There's evidence that these are very successful products at these price points that'll help you inform your decision about yours. Your first products, as well as your initial content on your blog, as well as your URL in an ideal world, would all to some degree reflect your unique positioning in this market. I've gone about this backwards, and I've had to, honestly, my business is called Science of Skill, my e-commerce business. I likely would have called it something entirely different had I started off doing research first. It's not a bad URL. I haven't had to scrap it, but it's certainly not ideal given the market that we're selling to. So that's a mistake I wouldn't want you to make. Now, luckily, it didn't hold us back too far, but I'd like you to go in the proper order if you could, if you haven't gotten started yet. Next up, your sales and marketing channel experimentation. First and foremost, Black Lambo test. I've gone into great detail on this in other videos, but essentially look at who are the most successful people, the people in your market who might be driving a black Lamborghini because they make so much money in this market, and look at how they're selling. What are their channels? What are their methods for driving sales? for driving traffic, driving conversion? Are they SEO folks? Are they paid advertising folks? Are they affiliate marketing folks? Are they email marketing folks? Are they doing a lot of offline marketing in different channels? Determine who are the most successful folks and determine what channels they're playing around with. It's not to say you should not try other channels, but it is to say that those channels are pretty well proven and they might want to be included in your initial experimentation. I recommend only trying out about 2 channels at once when you start and really not experimenting beyond that. If you try to master Google AdWords and Facebook pay-per-click and Twitter advertising and SEO and affiliate marketing all at the same time, even if you're able to work 100 hours a week, which I certainly am, and some of you listening in might be as well, even if you are, you're really squandering your efforts. And so it's ideal to really quite ardently aim to pound out success from a particular few channels that are proven based on who the most successful folks in your industry and space are, and to leverage those first. It's not to say you should only model other people, but it's a nice place to start for most digital product companies. And oftentimes, given the objectives of the folks starting these kind of businesses, to get themselves to maybe 7, maybe 8 figures, it's certainly what we might say good enough in order to get you off the ground. Very much don't recommend experimenting with more than 2 channels seriously at a time. You'll find it hard to track. You'll find it hard to know if you're being successful or not. Ideally, work on 2 that you're hell-bent on making work for your company. Lastly here, determine your marketing and operating regimens. I'll be brief about this. We've had other videos we've talked about determining your PR outreach regimens. I've talked about some of the stats that I've tracked. I have other videos that are going to be coming out quite soon at the time of this recording about some of the actual metrics that I track in my own successful companies from kind of the consulting side of things to the e-commerce side of things. But the goal is to get the key actions and the key metrics dialed in quite quickly. So what are the day-to-day, week-to-week, maybe month-to-month actions that you must take? How many blog posts are you going to write? On what day are you going to set up your Facebook ads? On what days or what times are you going to look at your success rate on said pay-per-click advertising, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? What are going to be the actions you're actually going to take? I prefer week over week on this, on social media, via email, via affiliate marketing, via content marketing, all of your various marketing channels, and then all of your various operations factors here. Maybe part of your operations factors involve communicating with affiliates, or part of your operations factors involve communicating with your content producers who are going to be making your courses, or whatever the case may be. What are the week-over-week musts that will always be the same and that you will always have to keep up with in your business? Determine those and track them in some kind of a spreadsheet. I like Google Docs for this, Google Spreadsheets, and ensure that you're doing them week over week. And same with metrics. Is it going to be list size? Is it going to be revenue? What are going to be the metrics you'll track week over week? They're going to be important for your particular business model. Again, so I have videos about this, but the fact of the matter remains, if you are not tracking actions and metrics on a week-to-week basis, and doing so with very regimented consistency, you're really not running a business. You're kind of flying by the seat of your pants. It's going to be very, very hard to delegate, very, very hard to scale. So could I have been able to start it all over again, or begin with some of my clients who maybe had gone down the wrong path first? I would advise this kind of an order off the bat before getting a digital products business off the ground. These are hard lessons I've learned, and some of my own clients have learned. I hope that they've proven themselves to be useful for you. Feel free to leave a comment down below if you have any other questions about this or ideas about how you might implement it. And also be sure to subscribe if you're interested in selling digital courses. We have a lot of great videos here, and we're only going to be creating more and more in the future. So thanks again for tuning in. I'll catch you next time.